We explain the influence of the Soviets in Eastern Europe. In 1947, financier Bernard Baruch made a speech in South Carolina. In it, he declared that America could not afford to fall behind the Soviet Union in any way, shape, or form, including production or output. He coined the term of the tension between the two nations as the Cold War. He said that any loss by America would be a loss of the Cold War, which would be a war without fighting, but one with the high stakes of the American way of life versus the Soviet way of life. Over the next 40 to 50 years, the United States and her allies would work to be second to none in the world, and the actions were shaped by the belief that Russians were hiding under the bed. For the Soviets, American capitalists were hiding under their beds, and Stalin refused to come in second to any of them. This included launching a hydrogen bomb 2 years after the United States launched theirs with their layer cake design. The Soviets and their former allies from World War II spent the 1940s making moves and counter-moves against each other in Eastern Europe. The Soviet goal was to maintain the buffer of Eastern Europe by propping up pro-communist governments and preventing free elections from taking place. The U.S. passed the Marshall Plan to finance European nations like Greece and Turkey, whose bad economies made them targets of pro-communist factions. Stalin and Foreign Secretary Molotov created the Council for Mutual Assistance to help the economies of pro-Soviet satellite states and keep them off the Marshall Plan and also tied to the USSR. Like the rest of Germany, Berlin had also been divided into 4 parts, but existed within the Soviet-held section of Germany. So in 1948, when the United States, France, and Britain moved to merge their sections of Germany into an independent German nation, as well as their sections of Berlin, the Soviets launched a countermove. They blocked all roads and access to starve Berlin out. The West would counter with the Berlin airlifts. When the West officially created the Federal Republic of Germany, or West Germany, the Soviets would move to declare their section as the German Democratic Republic, or East Germany. Berlin would also be divided into East and West Berlin. To stop East Germans from escaping into West Berlin and escaping to the West, the East Germans built the Berlin Wall in 1961. And then the Allies formed a mutual defense alliance called NATO in 1949. The Soviet satellite states countered and formed their own alliance called the Warsaw Pact in 1955. The Soviets moved to control all actions of Eastern European nations, with the exceptions of Albania, which had a separate communist party, and Yugoslavia, which under the leadership of Marshal Tito managed to remain an independent communist state until 1980. Under Stalin's leadership, the Warsaw Pact states pushed a 5-year collectivization plan and an investment-heavy industry. And like the Soviet Union, secret police ruled the justice systems of the Warsaw Pact, limiting dissent and free choices. When Stalin died, revolts of reform broke out in Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia. Poland avoided violence by swearing loyalty immediately to the USSR. The Soviets crushed the Hungarian Revolution in Budapest in 1956, and in 1968 they put down a free speech movement in Prague. The Iron Curtain stayed solid.